On the seventh Sunday of Christmas, Sharon shared with me a gift bag with a card, a removable card. Very easy. Takes 2 sheets of designer series paper. That will make not only the bag, but also the card. We're going to bring in 2 pieces of designer series paper. They need to be the same pattern, and it's best if they are non-directional because you don't have to think about what's upside down and what's not upside down. So on the back side here, we just have some random kind of pattern. And on the front side, we've got these cranberries. I think they're cranberries, and they are also going in all sorts of different directions. Let's set one piece aside for right now. Bring in our paper trimmer and scorer. We're going to score on 3 sides at 3 inches, and the 4th side will be at 1 inch. So here's my 3-inch mark, and I'm going to score. Remember, don't press too hard with your scoring blade because it's designer series paper. You don't want to rip it, because that's not going to end up well for your bag. We're going to rotate it and score at another 3 inches. And rotate it once more and do 3 inches. So that's 3 inches on 3 sides. And then 1 inch on the 4th side. So this is the side that's not scored yet, but I'm going to, in order to keep everything nice and straight, I'm going to flip it around so that I'm using the 1 inch mark over here. So I have more of a lip down here to hold my designer series paper straight. All right. So if I burnish on these, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. So we'll, and I want this to be the inside of the bag. So there's the 3 inch. Here's the 3 inch. Here's the 3 inch. And so these are the sides and bottom. And then this 1 inch piece, I'm going to flip it over. Here's the 1 inch. I'll fold that right over. Okay. So this is going to be the top of our bag, and we want to stick that down pretty well. I'm going to bring in my tear and tape. Now you can use whatever adhesive that you want. In fact, let's not use the tear and tape for that. Let's go ahead and just use regular old glue. For this one, you want to put your adhesive fairly close to the top of the bag. Not too close because you don't want that glue to ooze out, but all the way to the end. I'm going to fold that over, press that in good. There we go. All right. Now on the other side, we're going to come up here and snip up on this score line just to that horizontal score. Do the same thing over here. So this will form a bag. And again, now that you've folded this over, you'll probably want to help those sides come in a little bit. All right. This will, let me put the bottom down. These will fold in like this and form our bag. So let's go ahead and actually put that together. We'll put the adhesive on these pieces right here. Again, you want to use a very strong adhesive, so I would suggest either Seal Plus, which I personally have a harder time with just because once it's stuck, it's pretty much stuck. So there's not a whole lot of wiggle room, which is why I really like the glue. I'm going to put some there And I'm going to put some here. I'm going to fold this, the flap goes inside. You just want to make sure it's all nice and squared up. You can press a little bit harder in a second once it's all formed. But you want to make sure that the edge goes right to the corner here. And you'll know you're in pretty good shape because the tops will look pretty good. All right, and so then you can put it in and press it down. So there is half our bag, all done. Now let's go to the other piece. First thing you're going to do, we're not doing the same thing here. You're going to trim off 4 inches. Now again, if you were dealing with directional paper, you'd want to really pay attention to the direction. I don't think it's worth it. I mean, I'm all for not hoarding designer series paper, but I don't really want to waste it either. And my mind is scatterbrained enough so that, you know, I don't have to think about some of this stuff. All right, so now we're going to, on the last one, we scored at 3 inches on 3 sides and 1 inch on that last side. This piece, we're going to score at 3 inches on 1 side. And we want to make it, so score it on the long side. It had the long side at the bottom of your trimmer and score it at 3 inches. And then you're going to go 1 inch in all the other directions. So there's 3 inches, and then it's 1 inch on all the other sides. And I'm going to go ahead and measure again from here. So here's 1 inch. Okay, this is the side up here that I've not scored on. So here we go. You flip it over. You may or may not be able to see there is 1 inch score line here, 1 inch score line here, 1 inch score line here, and then 3 inches here. Again, if I burnish those score lines, you'll be able to see them a lot better. This is the inside. Remember, this Lost Lagoon color is the inside. I already did that one. And we'll flip it over, and that is the top of our bag. So this 1 inch folded over piece is the top of our bag. And we're going to adhere this down. All right, I'm putting it on the edges too. There we go. Here's your bone folder. It really helps stick in. We're going to go that way, and we're going to fold this in and give that a little burnish. So now we have that, and this is going to kind of come in. Let me show you. We do need to snip again these bottom pieces. Now I have showed this bag before, or a variation of it before, where we used, basically made 2 of these and slipped them in one another. This definitely saves a little bit more paper and will allow us to make that card that hangs from the front. So we're gonna put these guys in again. Let's adhere with some glue. Put some glue over here. Tuck that in, make sure those sides come up nicely. Oops, didn't let it set up enough. Edge right to the edge, edge right to the edge. I'm gonna stand it up and press it in. And I notice if you have the wiggle room with the glue, if you push those all the way in, they're nice and square. So these guys are going to fit together, and you want the 1-inch pieces to go inside. So you don't want the 3-inch ones to go inside, because then you have these seams over here. So we want these ones to go inside. We're going to need glue on this side, and I like it on both edges. We're going to need it all along the bottom and all over here. I think it's easier to put the glue on the bottom of this one. So let's go ahead and do that. And if you are using other adhesive, now you're at the point where you're going to have to use tear and tape. You probably can't use a tape runner for a lot of this because the box is already folded. I'm going to put some in here. And then we're going to carefully bring this over and put it on the other side. Glue that down a little bit too. All right. Now let's slip this into the bottom, and we'll match up the sides. Again, you have a little bit of wiggle room time because of the glue. Just make it all look really nice, lined up. If you have a little bit of something like I have up here sticking up, we can trim that afterwards. But we're going to press inside and outside, making sure that everything gets stuck down very, very nicely. This side with the 1-inch, that's the back of our bag. I'm gonna press down. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the camera. Press down on the bottom and the inside, get that all nice and firm as well. Let me go ahead and just trim this little overhang here. And if you got a little bit over here, just trim this again with your scissors. Pretty easy with your paper snips. Right to the corner. There we go. If you find you have any little pieces kind of that don't look unglued, that don't look glued, go ahead and add a little bit of glue to them. But this looks really cute. Isn't that a cute bag? Pretty bag. Now we're going to make the card and the hanger. I'm going to use a piece of Lost Lagoon cardstock to match this. All right, we'll bring in our paper trimmer. I decided instead of Lost Lagoon, I liked the contrast of, because Lost Lagoon, while it coordinates, I think I like the Pretty Peacock better. So we need a piece that measures 5.5 inches by 2 inches. And at the same time, I'm going to make this piece, I need another one that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So since it's already 5 1/2 inches wide, we'll cut this at 4 1/4, and we'll save this later for the card. So this piece right here, we need to create our hanging mechanism. Now we used to have a long oval punch. We have a couple of dies that do the same thing. But you could make some holes running consecutively across. I think it's just as easy to use a paper trimmer. Here's what you do. You're going to put your edge at the 1/2 inch mark. You're going to put your cutting blade with the little line at the 1/2 inch mark. Put that down. You'll cut your paper up to the 5 inch mark, which is 1/2 inch from the end. Pick up your blade, your ruler here, slide over to the 1 inch mark, which means this is going to be a 1/2 inch wide. It's 1/2 inch from the other piece. Come back down to the 1/2 inch mark. Now you have 2 slits. Let's rotate over, put this at the 1/2 inch mark again, so everything's 1/2 inch. And you're going to put your lines right at the where you're going to connect these two. So you're going to make a slit till right there and see how that kind of comes out. I'm going to rotate over to the other side and score between those two marks as well. I mean, not score, but cut. And so this is your hanger. Pretty easy. We need to put that on the front of our bag right here. So we'll use some adhesive. And you're just putting it along this top strip right here. Again, you need a strong adhesive, so tear and tape would work. Seal Plus would work. This glue will work. You want to center it, put it right up against the top, almost giving the impression it's tucked under that, but it's not. And there we go. And that is our hanger. Now we just need to make our card. Bring in that piece of 4" by 12" designer series paper that you cut off, that second sheet of DSP. We're going to cut this down so that it is 4 inches by 10.5. So we're cutting off 1.5 inches, which is right to the edge of this little strip right here. That's easier to measure. I mean, you can put it at 10.5 right there. Same thing. You can hold on to this if you want to, and you can use it as part of your decorations in a moment. On our bag, the outside of the bag is this pattern, so that's going to become the inside of my card. If you fold this over, I don't even need to score, but if you scored, it would be at 5 1/4. So this is going to be our card front, and you can decide which side you want as your card front. Remember that this little piece, you can use this to come in. It's obviously the tone on tone, so you're going to maybe need another piece of Pretty Peacock to kind of set that off. You can put this right on here. I'm just playing around at the moment. We need to have a Christmas sentiment. Let's bring in a punch for that before we decide what else that we're going to do. I'm going to take a piece of basic white, and I'm going to be using my hexagon punch. I can punch that first. I have confidence in my ability to stamp somewhat straight on there. Let's bring in the Greetings of the Season stamp set. This was an online exclusive, and I'm going to stamp the Merry Christmas, and I like mixed fonts, so I'm going to mix my fonts here. Merry and Christmas. And because these are photopolymer, I'm going to be able to see through them to where I'm stamping. So actually, if I want to determine sort of placement beforehand, as long as I know my stamps are clean, see, Christmas just fits on there nicely, and the Merry goes up there. So, all right, so I have an idea of where my placement's going to be. I think I'm going to bring in the Mauve Mist. Or, sorry, Mauve Mist, that's old. Moody Mauve. We'll ink up our Christmas. I hope this is straight. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then we'll ink up our Merry. We could do Merry over here, which is a little odd, but it fits nicely right up there, I think. So we've got Merry Christmas. All right, let's close up that. And let's bring in another punch. I love this punch right here. This is the layering leaves. It's the bow punch, but it goes with layering leaves. And I'm just gonna punch this from the scrap here that I know I was planning on using. And we're gonna put this kind of right here, I think, right along the edge. We can put that on there, maybe on an angle here. And from a Moody Mauve little piece, we'll cut this little one. So we have something that looks like that. Let's bring in our card front. So we're gonna have something that looks a lot like this. That's kind of plain to me. So let's bring in this striped ribbon. It's part of a 2-pack. Let me show you the other one. It's part of the petal pink and white diagonal trim. And I think what would be fun would be to color this with Moody Mauve. Moody Mauve? Yeah, that's the right name. Let's see. I have some Moody Mauve Stampin' Blends. Now, obviously, this is optional. Another thing you could do is probably brush some ink on this using a blending brush and just let it dry for a bit. I'm going to bring in just a piece of scrap here. I need something to color on. And let's use the light Moody Mauve and see how that works. We're just gonna color right on in. Notice I'm using the very side because I don't want to ruin my tip. And you can see how you get light and dark Moody Mauve too. There we go. And if you want to flip it over just to make sure you've got everything, you can do that as well. Let's see how that works out for us. We will be trimming it. Now it's alcohol ink, so it doesn't take long for it to dry, but you do want it to give it just a little bit of time to dry, and you can decide which side that you want. One side is darker with light stripes, and one side is lighter with dark stripes. It's kind of cool that we have the option here. While I'm waiting for that to dry, remember that piece of 4.5 or 4 1/4 by 5 inch Pretty Peacock? That's what this is going to be put on to. So the Designer Series paper is really the card itself with that backing, just helping it be a little bit sturdier. Again, if you have some sort of directional paper, you have to really pay attention here because while only one side here shows, both insides show, so you'd want to make sure that it's running in the proper direction. There's just a lot to think about when you're dealing with the direction here. All right, let's see how this goes. How do I want it? Do I want to, let's play a little bit. I mean, I might have to color a little bit more. Nope. Let's see how about if we just do this right across the center? Yeah, I think I like that. And I will trim the ends. Angle cut them. Let's see, I don't want it to go all the way to the ends. So that's probably pretty good right there. I can go ahead and put that down with any kind of adhesive I want. It's not going to show because I'm going to have that label over the top. All right, so there we go. There's our little piece of ribbon. And we, of course, will adhere this with dimensionals. Pop that up. There we go. We have something that looks just like that. Ooh, I need to straighten my ribbon a little bit, I think. I'm gonna put another piece just in the middle, just to make sure I grab that ribbon so it doesn't go anywhere. There we go. And let's bring in our little embellishments here that we had. We have that one. And the other one went somewhere right here. No, that's not it. That's the little one. You know what? I can't find it. It's probably on the floor. Yes, it is. I was all ready to punch another one. And then I found it on the floor. So let's kind of put this. Sometimes I like to use the other side. It all depends on how it works out. I kind of like that right there. So I'm just going to adhere it right there and let everything else kind of stick up. You can use any sorts of embellishments that you want here. Then we have our other little piece. And we can put right there. So it's nothing really fancy, and it's nothing that took a lot of time. You know what would make this a little bit better? A little bit more festive? Some Wink of Stella on the flowers right here. And make that a little shiny, sparkly, festive. Can add some gems if you'd like. Let's see, what kind of gems do I want to use? Ooh, these ones from the Tinsel Gems Trio Pack seem to go nicely. Let's put some of them on. 2 packages in one here. That's what happens when you are a demonstrator. You use up a bunch of some in classes, and then you've got a bunch of the others left over. Might take your pick tools somewhere, but not somewhere handy. So let's see, where are we going to put these? Put that there. Do I want more than one? Let's see. I'm not going to press down very hard, just in case I change my mind. And just sort of put them into place. I could put that there. I could put it up here. I could put it right here in the center. Oh, I kind of like that. All right, got my little triangle going on. That's fun. That's fun. You can play around with this as much as you want. You can make a really special card and put that on the front. I think it's special because it's going to be coordinating. Now, when you open this up, you've got this, but we need to put something in there. So again, we're going to bring in, oh, found my take your pick tool. It's on the other side of my trimmer. We're going to bring in a piece of basic white and trim this down. Now, this piece right here was 4 inches wide by 5 1/4. So I'm going to go 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So just another 1/4 of an inch left. All right. And we'll bring in another stamp from that Greetings of the Season stamp set. Let's see, I'll just use this one because this is the one I can find. And we'll use the May Your Holiday Season Be Filled with Warmth and Cheerful Celebration. That's a beautiful one as well. Ooh, does that fit? That doesn't really fit. Here we go. This is a better one. Put that there. Let's just stamp this sentiment. May your holiday season be filled with warmth and cheer. And we don't really need to add anything else there because there's all this decoration on the inside already. You know what? I think I want even more of it to show down here. I'm going to trim this a little smaller. I'm going to make it 1/4 of an inch less. So I'm going to shave off 1/8 of an inch on all 4 sides. Actually, if I do, 1/8 of an inch. Now, you don't have to go about this if you start with a piece that is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. So I don't know if you heard the interruption that just came, but my husband told me that he just got back with my dinner. So lucky for me, I'm almost done. And there is our card. And just slip this in here. And there's our gift bag. Put some little white tissue in there and you're good to go. If you want to put on handles with ribbon, you can, but I think you can just carry this in just as you would a present without handles, and it is beautiful as is. And that is the 7th Sunday of Christmas. I hope you enjoyed this 12 Sundays of Christmas tutorial. I would love to share the written PDF with you. All you need to do is sign up for my email list. The link is in the description of the video. You can find that below. You might have to click the word more. And by signing up, you will get that delivered to your inbox Monday, maybe Tuesday. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a great week ahead of you.